I'm here with Brandt Passalacqua, the founder of Breathing Deeply Yoga Therapy. And we are talking about being at peace with food, a specialized yoga therapy training for weight loss. And we wanted to take a little bit of time to introduce the course to you. Brandt's journey with weight loss and his journey in this work really sets the stage for this training. And I was hoping, Brandt, you could tell us a little bit about your own weight loss story and how you came to do this particular work.
Well, personally, I was obese for a long time. And around when I was 30 years old, I got really ill. And coming out of that illness, I kind of stumbled upon yoga. And so the yoga helped me with the illness part. But I was actually shocked to find out that I started to lose weight. And it wasn't that it was magic, but yoga really helped me get at some of the kind of root causes of why I overate and lived an unhealthy lifestyle. And so it completely changed my life, and I lost 100 pounds and kept it off. And then I wanted to share it with everybody, like anyone would. You might get really excited about that. So I took a yoga training, became a yoga teacher, and then I took a yoga therapy training, and I began working with people who were obese and sort of along with that, people that had eating disorders. And then what I saw is that not only did the methods that I use work for me, but some of the things I used and then also sort of extrapolating these yoga techniques worked really well for other people too. And I started to see really amazing results and, got to see people lose lots of weight or sort of get a hold of their eating disorder in a way that wasn't so much of a struggle for them. And then eventually we codified the work more, and I wrote a book called Peaceful Weight Loss and did that work for a long time. So I'm so happy that this work now exists in this form.
Talk to me a little bit about the yoga therapy approach to this work, to weight loss. You mentioned that you sort of codified the work. What does that look like?
Well, in a really general way, yoga therapy is about using yoga therapy practices, which are movement, breathing, and meditation techniques, to create more balance in your system, whether that's your mind or your body or both. And the great thing about yoga therapy is we assess each person as an individual and figure out what practices are going to be best for them in terms of doing that. So when we apply that to this work, we take an individual who, say, is obese, but we don't look at that person and say, oh, this person's obese, this is exactly what they should do. We have some ideas, and then we assess them and give them specific practices for them. And those practices are really designed to do a couple things, but the main thing is to create balance in their system and enable that person to make the changes they need or to create habits they need to live a happier, healthier, more fulfilled life, which in this case might include losing weight.
Okay. When it comes to a yoga teacher, this course would make a lot of sense, right? It gives them the ability to work individually with clients around weight loss. Are there other, professionals who might benefit from this style of training?
Yeah, absolutely. Mental health professionals, for sure. If you're a mental health professional, you already know that people are coming in and talking to you about losing weight all the time, or their eating disorder, or their mental struggle around food. And you have many tools to talk to them about these things with, but some of the tools you don't have yet, probably, if you're listening to this presentation, are the tools we have, which is how can movement affect somebody's ability to shift and change and know themselves better? How can breathing do that? How can we affect the nervous system so that people don't get flooded and overwhelmed by their mental experiences, et cetera? So that's one area that would be really well suited to this course. And then also people who already work with food or wellness, or health coaches, maybe Ayurvedic specialists who have a bunch of tools in terms of helping people towards balance, but haven't really considered them in this way through this kind of yoga therapy and yoga lens. Because a lot of this training is about the tools we use, but also a lot about it is about how we use them, when we use them, how we talk to people about using them. So we've spent many years and, working with clients and then gathering all that information so we can now share with you like kind of the best ways to approach working with any individual.
Great. And could you give us a sense of, how successful you've been? Obviously there's a lot of options out there for people when it comes to weight loss, but I would really love to hear you talk about, how successful you've been and what that has kind of looked like for you in your particular work in using this model.
Yeah, so in my practice, it's kind of been divided into thirds-ish, and the thirds look like this. A third of people do great. They come in, they say, I want to lose a lot of weight. Maybe they're 100 pounds overweight, and they lose a whole bunch of weight. They get their systems together. They, their mental health improves, they're more content, and it's, the kind of stuff you see on before and after pictures. And a third's really high, a third is great. This is a very difficult work. And then I'd say somewhere around another third does the work, again, like is healthier and happier and really lands in a nice place. And those people like might not lose all the weight they wanted to lose. Let's say, again, they needed to lose 100 pounds in their mind, and maybe they lose 30 of those pounds, but their life, gets improved and their quality of life gets improved. And for me, that's a win. I mean, that's how I see it, and usually for my clients too. The other third, and it's important to talk about this, is a washout. The work doesn't resonate. It's not their moment. It just doesn't kind of work for them. And you're asking people to create huge amounts of habit change, and they may or may not be ready to do that. Or the tools didn't quite work as well as we would want in that case. So that's the other third. So, for me, I see about 2/3 of people I work with get a ton of benefit. So I'm super proud of that. And I'm so happy for the clients I've worked with.
Yeah, I think in my own work, I've seen a similar outcome with the clients I've worked with. When I did this training back with you in 2015, it was really eye-opening to me because I think you hear a lot of things about weight loss, right? We're sort of inundated in our culture with, various diets and different takes on what you should do and what you should not do. And I think for a lot of yoga professionals or mental health professionals, right, they have sort of this, patchwork of ideas about what to do when they're working with clients around weight loss. The really great thing about being at peace with food was that it's a particular skill set, it's a particular methodology, so it takes out the guessing for you, right? It's a pathway forward that actually really works for working with individuals who have goals around weight loss. And it's not just based sort of willy-nilly on my own, what kind of worked for me, right? It's this broader set of skills and methods.
The system we developed is an exploration for them to land on the best way for them to live and eat. So it's important to note that, of course, there's many things nutritionally that are useful in this world, but for most people struggling in this way, that's not their main challenge. I mean, you can tell someone all day, right, to eat more blueberries, but really what people want to know is like, what process do I need to go through so I can end up where I want to be? And, and how can that process not be incredibly difficult? And most importantly, how can that process be sustainable? And that's what we're completely concerned with in this work, as you know.
Yeah, the sustainability at the end is what actually changes people's lives. The other thing that I found really beneficial about the training for me as a working yoga therapist is that it gave me a niche to, put myself out there with, as I marketed myself around this particular work. It was really beneficial, right? Because people might not necessarily know what yoga therapy is, but many people are searching for, a way to change their relationship with food and lose weight. And, here was something that I could point to and say, I've been trained specifically in this work, by somebody who has done this for, as you said, a couple of decades now. That's something that I think yoga teachers and aspiring yoga therapists can find really useful.
Yeah. And, there's so much work because there's so much people suffering in this way. And especially in the West, it's a real mess. And people need a lot of help. And it's a really empowering thing for people to get into a process where they all of a sudden feel like they have some control over that. So yeah, if you're looking to share that kind of information with people, you definitely want to have gone through some sort of training or process where you really understand how to do that. And I think this is an excellent choice.